everyone, back here from Pat here. Guys, we just had an epic cassava harvest, and in today's video we're going to be cutting up the cassava sticks so that we can plant more cassava throughout the property. And also I'm going to be having cassava sticks for sale in my new Etsy store. So let's get started. Cassava time. I tell you guys, cassava is absolutely fascinating to me. Early in the year, I planted some cassava sticks. Every single one of these bumps that you see along the stem of the cassava can actually grow into leaves or into roots. The knobs or the nodes that are underground becomes the cassava that you eat, and then what is above the ground becomes the leaves. So guys, I actually have two cassavas that I'm going to cut up today. This one was actually from Hurricane Ian, which was a month and a half ago. I had it literally just propped up on the against the fence, and guys, look, it's already sprouting new leaves even before it goes into the ground. I'm gonna cut up this stem also and plant it plant it in the garden, and I'm gonna have some for sale. So, and then this cassava just broke last week during Hurricane Nicole. Guys, can you believe it? We had two hurricanes back to back. Anyway, this is going to give me a whole lot of cuttings, some to share with friends, some to sell on Etsy, and definitely a lot more to plant in my garden. I still have cassava planted throughout my garden because I really do love cassava. If you guys missed the video I just posted on the 3 ways I cook cassava, don't miss it. I tell you, the fried cassava and those cassava dumpling and the boiled cassava, all of it was just absolutely yummy. Anyway, enough of that chat. I'm going to show you how I'm going to be cutting this up. And it's very, very easy to cut. Cassava is actually pretty soft. So I'm just going to go through. In order to plant, you literally just need a couple knobs, but I'm going to make these maybe around 6 to 8 inches. So we can have enough knobs underground and the rest above ground. I planted as little as 4 inches with just the one knob above it, and it has grown cassava. As a matter of fact, let me show you what one I have here. Okay, so the 3 cassavas along this back wall were planted only months ago when my friend Jackie, we did a harvest at her house. So these 2 cassavas are right now over 6 feet tall, and I had one root that I stuck in the ground right here, and you can see that sprung up from it, and that. So 2 separate roots sprung up from this one stick that I stuck in the ground. And then over here, another huge cassava. This one, you can't really tell what it was now, but this was also one piece. As you can see, it has gotten way thicker. At the time when I planted it, it was much thinner than this, much thinner than this, but it has gotten a lot fatter. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 different stems have come out of the one stick. Let's see if we have any more. Not every cassava grows at the same rate. You can see this one is a lot smaller. I think this was a much skinnier stem that I planted. And it's gonna come up eventually, but I just wanted to show you that they don't all grow at the same rate, but the majority of them are already pretty big. Different sizes, but they're all pretty big so far. All right, so let's get to cutting up so we can plant some more cassava and that I can make some cassava available for you guys. So it's been about a week and a half. The leaves are starting to dry back, but as you can see, the cassava is still very green, very healthy, very ready to plant. So I'm not gonna plant the very tip. Even the very tip can grow. That small one that you saw over there, it was a tip that I planted. Even the very tip can grow, but I'm going to be planting the part that already has like a little gray on its trunk. I don't want to plant any that has green. I want to plant the one that's gray like this, a little bit sturdier. So this is how easy it is. You know, go a few nodes down, probably like 6 inches, and cut. Just go about 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches, and cut. Cassavas cannot grow from the actual root. It cannot grow from the actual food. And, you know, like with sweet potatoes and yams, you can cut a piece of sweet potato and stick it in the ground and it will eventually give you vines. Cassava, if you stick a cassava in the ground, it's just gonna rot. Cassava only grows through cassava cuttings. So just letting you guys know, because I know a lot of people, I personally have tried it. I bought cassava and I was like, why didn't it work? Because I didn't know. But so I just want to save you guys the time. Cassava grows through cuttings, but the cuttings are available. You can get them, you know, online, or you can get them from me, whichever one you prefer. This is organic cassava. You guys see how I do everything. You see exactly what I put in the soil. So you can support me if you wish and get the cassava here, the cassava cuttings. All right, so I've been cutting up cassava sticks. There's one important thing to know when you're planting it. So you're gonna make sure that the part of the cassava stick that has a little knob. So on the cassava stick, at the very top, you see a little bump. See, touch it. See at the top, right above the node, you see that little bump right there? That means that has a point up. That little bump has a point up because that's where the leaves are gonna come from, right? Then you're gonna place at least 2 or 3 of the nodes below ground. You can even put 4. You can even put these 4 nodes below ground and then like a few inches, 2 or 3 inches above ground. That way you're gonna form a lot of roots down here. I just cut this off, the one that fell down for Hurricane Ian, and you can see the little nodes have become leaves because it's been sitting there for like a month and a half. So I wanted you guys to see it so you know the right way. You see the leaves pointing up? You don't want to turn it this way because then you're not going to be planting it in the right way. Plant it with the little knobs, the little tiny bump above the node. The bump is directly above the node. Point that up. Okay? So here's what I have cut up so far. I'm going to plant it in the garden. I'm not going to cut the rest up yet. I'm going to leave it whole. As you can see, the ones that got blown down over a month and a half ago, it's still nice and green. I just took a cutting off this. It's still nice and green, and it has leaves coming out, so you notice it's still fresh. I don't want to cut it up all up because if you cut it up, then it's going to dry out before I have a time to use it. So I'm going to plant. Let me show you now how I plant these out. How easy it is to plant these out. I'm going to plant one that was blown down from Ian and one from Nicole. And I'm going to reuse the same spot where I dug that trench. This is how wide the trench had to be to pull up that last cassava. It was so big. So I think I'm going to put 2 right here. But I'm going to make sure that they're far enough apart so the roots don't get tangled up like it did the last time. So we're going to have one here. And what I'm going to do is just backfill the dirt. So I just put the easel down, put the phone down so I can kind of put some dirt in. This dirt was so rich that I figured, you know what? I'm going to plant right in the same spot and maybe just amend the soil a bit. Maybe add a little worm castings or something. But the soil was so black and rich. So this is how easy it is to plant cassava. Take the stick, you put it in the ground, making a little hole, put it in the ground, and I'm gonna cover it up. And I know I'm covering up some of the leaves that were on there, but it's okay. New roots are gonna form in all the little nodes that are underground. Let me show you. So this is what it looks like. And let me just pull it out so you can see. So this is a whole cassava stick, maybe 6-7 inches, maybe 7 inches, I don't know. And make a little hole, cover it up. All right, so let's do this one more time so you guys can see. So we're taking this cassava stick. These are just some tops. I'm gonna go a couple feet across. It's about 2.5 feet from that one, about 3 feet from that one. I'm gonna place it here, and I'm gonna pull some of that existing soil over my cassava stick. And before you know it, guys, I'm gonna be having a bountiful harvest. It's actually a great idea to continue planting cassava out throughout the year. As you can see, I had a good probably 20-pound harvest, close to just under 20-pound harvest from one cassava stick. Cassava can take anywhere from 6 months to a year to be ready. So by harvesting that cassava and then having all this other cassava that's going to be ready in 3 months, I'm literally going to be harvesting cassava every few months. So that's it. It's as simple as that, guys. I ended up adding some organic garden soil that I had here from a local nursery, because even though the soil looks so rich and the cassava was so huge, cassava is a very, very heavy feeder. So it would have probably depleted the soil, even though the soil does still look good. So I added a bag of the garden soil, and I added some earthworm castings that I had also. If you have a little all-purpose fertilizer, you can sprinkle it in also. If you're reusing the bed like I'm reusing right now. So you can see, now that I've added the soil, I literally just have maybe one or two nodes outside the ground. All of the rest are under the ground because, of course, I want more roots and leaves. And it's still gonna grow huge. It's still gonna have a ton of leaves, but now you know, a lot of roots will be underground. So I'm gonna go ahead. You can see I actually have the root. This is actually the stem from the previous cassava plant. It's not gonna grow, but I'm just throwing it in there. That will eventually break down and feed the soil. You know, I'm all about, you know, adding organic matter, and even the roots of, or the stem of the cassava is organic matter. Plus the stems would have all the nutrients that it pulled up into the plant will be now broken down and fed right back into the plant, into the soil, which will feed the new plants. I'm gonna also get some mulch, the same mulch I have here. I have some more. I have a whole mountain of it in the front yard, so I'm gonna mulch this over, water it well, and then we're good to go. All right, guys, so that's it for the cassava harvest, or the cassava planting and cutting up. Oh boy. And another thing, keep your animals out of your freshly planted area. No Stormy, no Girl, leave my cassava alone. So mulching the area will keep them off. That will kind of help keep them off a little bit. So guys, I have a whole lot of cassava here. If you guys are interested, you know, click the link below my new Etsy store. I'd really appreciate if you guys support me. You know, just support me if you're interested in cassava. You can buy them right here from me. All right, so till next time, guys, go on out and plant a cassava stick, plant some sweet potatoes, plant some peppers, plant something, guys. Speaking of sweet potatoes, guys, look. I've been trying to control the sweet potatoes. There's a sweet potato harvest coming up soon. Actually, oh my gosh, look, there's sweet potatoes peeping out of the ground. So, okay, so coming up next, sweet potato harvest. That'll be coming soon. I need to get these potatoes out of the ground. All right, guys, till next time. Bye now. I'm making sure I don't put the mulch all the way to up to it. I leave like a couple inches around it so it can breathe. So that's what it looks like. Now just sit back and watch it grow.